Welcome to About Ukraine, and welcome Jeff back on our channel About Ukraine.
Hey Vitaly.
Hey Jeff, how are you doing today?
Good, great to be out here. Nice late autumn, early winter day.
Yeah, and we are in Troeschyna, the master planned community of Kyiv. I don't know.
Without metro.
Yeah, without the metro. If you look on a map, Troeschyna looks like a giant, I don't know like what, it looks like a giant tumor growing out of Kyiv.
And it's very large.
It's very large and it's
area.
very disconnected. It's like doesn't even look like it should be part of Kyiv. And right now we are located in this giant circular, one of the 4 or 3 Troeschyna black holes. This is what I call, this is my name for this area. It's this giant circular roundabout, but in the middle of it, it's like recessed. And you can see that it has these tunnels under the bridge that goes under the roundabout. So they really try to separate cars from pedestrians, yes.
You'll see this in Kyiv, right? But in Kyiv, it seems like you've got a shopping mall underneath, or maybe some small market or vendors.
Yeah.
But here it's kind of exposed, and all you have is just the underpass.
Yeah. Troeschyna is this whole master planned community that kind of like emerged in 1988. I think 1980s, late 1980s, and they just went out and decided to build something like hundreds and hundreds of common blocks at the same time,
Right.
like in the 1980s. And one of the things that really left a mark on this place, I don't know if you know this, but you will never see any new construction. I mean, look
Really?
around. There's like a sea of communist buildings,
Yeah.
a sea of socialism.
Yeah. Yes. I heard that a lot of the people who were displaced from Chernobyl, like in Pripyat and Chernobyl themselves, were put up in housing here. And they actually got head of the line in front of some of the people that were waiting to get apartments in this area, I had read.
Well, let's say this whole area, it gets a bad rap, let's be honest. There's lots of videos on YouTube about how Troeschyna is the most dangerous place in Kyiv. It's the most like run down, and you gotta stay away from it. But I think the truth of the matter is a little bit different, and I guess this video is to explain that a little bit more, right?
Yeah, I think first impressions, right? I don't see any 25-story buildings right here.
And I can explain to you why that is.
Okay.
The reason is in the 1980s, you have to understand the Soviet Union understood how to build master planned cities. By then, 20-story building was considered extremely tall, right?
Uh-huh.
In the 1980s, this was the only area where you had such high rises. You can't really build higher than that because I think there is some kind of limitation with delivery of natural gas, because natural gas is supposed to get up to 20th, 15th floor or something like that. Higher than that, It can't really like naturally go up. And another thing that you will notice is a lack of transport in Troeschyna. It's a giant like mini city of 350,000 people with no metro link to Kyiv,
I was expecting, because of this, we were going to see a lot more parking problems, because
Yeah.
Kyiv has their own, even though they have metro.
Right.
But I'm not seeing like this.
Well, Troeschyna did become part of Kyiv city proper only in 1988, so it was always sort of disconnected. And the thing is about parking, yes, I agree. Again, you have to understand that this was planned completely from scratch during the heyday of the Soviet Union. People were not expected to have cars, were not expected to be drivers. So what you have is you have these courtyards everywhere. You have lots of greenery in this area, which I don't know, it could be a good and a bad thing. I guess the bad thing is that it's bad for drivers, they can never find parking. I think that's where Troeschyna gets a bad rap, because you can get lost in this maze of concrete jungle, right?
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of roads, there's not a lot of lighting.
The
You
builds
just
look very similar. All the
yes,
buildings.
not tall buildings, lack of transit, and the last point that I want to make is that there's no big shopping malls here. I mean, there's not. How Ocean Plaza and all these cool, like Lavina Mall, all these cool shopping centers. In Troeschyna, good luck. It's just you, markets, Gopniks, lack of transit, and old Soviet-style buildings, and
Wow.
that's all you get.
Wow. I wonder if that has to do with transportation, meaning people can't say all get to the mall rather than by, say, a bus, that it doesn't vote itself to building such a structure. Or is it around finances and money, and who knows?
Yeah, it could be a bit of everything. Because when this area was originally envisioned,
Yeah.
Troeschyna was always thought of as this cheap, lower middle class area for working class people that nobody really ever, it was not desirable to live here. I read that in the 1990s there was a huge shortage of classroom space for children. There was a huge shortage of hospital space as well, particularly here. And I think this is one of the reasons why Troeschyna does get a bad rap.
And if you look at other left bank communities, right, they look amazing. They're bedroom communities of Kyiv. Is it have to do with, I know there were villages here prior to them wanting to, say, establish this as part of Kyiv. Is it because of those villages and maybe farms that they weren't able to displace those people and give them housing, where maybe further south they could actually take a vacant plot of land and say, we're going to build up perfect community here with, I don't know, why did Troeschyna kind of become isolated or become just like a red-headed stepchild for Kyiv?
That's a good question. Because I guess there's only one Troeschyna. That's the answer. There's only one area where they decided to do this little experiment in, and that's why whenever you ask somebody what's the worst area of Kyiv, everybody says this Troeschyna is the worst area. Even though you have many other areas that are maybe not so desirable, run down, that kind of thing.
Honestly, as far as vacant buildings, I see a lot more in other areas of Kyiv than what I've seen in the short time that I've been walking through Troeschyna.
Abandoned.
Almost like Chernobyl vacant.
Yeah.
It seems like they get a bad rap. It definitely seems like a much even aesthetically pleasing with some of these trees and the greenery. Like you say, some of these courtyards actually is fairly nice.
Yeah.
But at some point, it seems like there have to be some investment in the infrastructure eventually, whether just through urban growth. We can't. Eventually, people won't want to keep moving, say, west to Irpin and Bucha. Eventually, they may want to
just to settle down here.
Settle down here, but they'll want transit. They'll start maybe demanding some. Did recently buy a SD card in a kiosk. So I needed something right away, right? And I didn't want to say go to Ocean Plaza or go to one of the other malls. So I did actually stop by the kiosk at the metro station and bought an SD card. I think, in hindsight, I paid probably too much for it, but I think as long as you know what you're getting, I wouldn't shop for name brand items that you think you're getting at a kiosk. It's likely probably counterfeit, and they're going to charge you probably name brand prices. Comparison to where I live in the Pacific Northwest, or where I came from, the kiosks offer an interesting opportunity that we don't have back home. It's actually stop on the street and say maybe pick up some bread or pick up something. So in that regard, it's kind of a novelty for me, I think. But
it is convenient, I agree. Wow, so we're in some pink courtyard. Someone decided to have this pink theme over here. It looks a little bit run down, but it's a little bit strange. But the first thing, that pops into my eyes is this like huge amount. It's the fall now. It's winter, but
Right.
in the summer, I'm sure it's all green here. There's lots of greenery. There's not a lot of parking like lots. There's just lots of green space. I'm sure in Kyiv, every little square inch of grass will have a car on it, right? Here, you can tell the roads are like really narrow. You can see like these courtyards. They these little driveways, right? Like they're narrow. They will only fit one car through here. You know, we just walked into like a random courtyard here in Troeschyna. It looks to me like this playground wasn't touched since the Soviet Union. Maybe it was like maybe painted up a little bit, and the field too, the soccer field as well. Because of the Soviet planning, it seems to me that you don't get a lot of through traffic like in Kyiv. So you end up having these little courtyards. Bad because if you live here, you can't park your car anywhere. But it's good because you don't hear a lot of traffic, right? And there's not a lot of traffic that goes through here.
And I wonder, I don't know, it may depend on where you live in Kyiv, but like if you're anywhere within, say, I don't know, 20 minutes of a metro station, you've probably got this constant stream of people walking through courtyards, making, you know, shortcuts to get to the metro station. I know in our area, there's a lot of just foot traffic to and from metro stations. And I think, yeah, like you say here it's just very quiet, very almost homey. You know, you don't get a sense that there's this hustle and bustle.
Yeah, it's if you like city life, though, and like the convenience of going out all the time, going out shopping all the time, I think you're not gonna have that here,
right?
Because you may feel a little bit bored, I think.
Yeah.
But if you're the one that likes markets, likes dive bars, likes marshutkas.
Hey, sounds great. You know, sounds like a great weekend.
So we found something really strange. There's another one of these strange contractions. I think it's like for hanging your rug and like beating it. It's an abandoned building that looked like it had original paint. I was thinking like, this could be lead paint.
I have to give you like this pamphlet that talks about lead paint hazards, and
in the States, buildings that are built before 1970s,
yes,
they have a mandatory check.
Yeah, right.
And something like this, I think, would probably be like demolished if it's a public space. And I think that it's better to be safe than sorry and like try not to pick these old paint chips of Soviet buildings. And I've heard that that's because the Soviet Union had these templates that they built these houses off of, and the templates included these balcony designs, and like you could have the same house.
Cutter. You know, these World War II memorials that are just in the middle of nowhere. They all, if you look at them, they all kind of give you this same feeling inside of like struggle in order to win or survive. You know, this common theme. Like every one you see, you don't get a different feeling at one, and then the next one. They're all, you know, very, very common, very not cookie cutter-ish because they're different. You know, one might be a military men holding guns.
Yeah, guns.
Another one might be, you know.
Yeah, they were creative over there. They were creative over there, but when it comes to buildings, they're not so creative.
Pretty much cookie cutter.
Yeah. All the creativity went to World War II memorials, you know, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know. Unfortunately for the people who have to live in cookie cutter homes. So now we're in a black hole number two.
This one has a little more life than the last one. It appears.
But it's the same. You can see that they copy pasted this idea like 4 times.
Separating the pedestrians from the cars.
Yeah. In case you're driving, there's a big sign over there that says bicycles and people only. We're approaching the central part, like the downtown of Troeschyna, if you will. City Hall / municipal building, and there it is. It's this in its Soviet glory, and you have this semi-Soviet looking movie theater. It's the only one in here, I think. I have a question for you, Jeff.
Yeah.
What do you think about this whole Gopnik idea? I would imagine we would have to come down here at night to test the theory.
I see nothing in the daytime.
Yes.
Maybe they're sleeping it off.
Probably, yes.
Find some Gopniks eating fried chicken and drinking vodka.
But in terms of like it being dangerous, would you be worried like
at
walking
all.
around filming?
Not at all. I think other people have touched on this, that I don't think there's anywhere in Ukraine right now that I've ever felt
Safe?
unsafe. Yeah, concerned about immediate concerns. I mean, I think there's certain. I would be concerned about petty crimes, but as far as physical harm, somebody mugging me, I'm not.
Right now we're approaching this end of Troeschyna, which is like this streetcar line, which is kind of strange because it goes like, it's kind of, again, it's like separated from the street level. As you can see, it's under the bridge over there.
Yeah.
And it's the only tram line that sort of goes the whole length of Troeschyna. And that's sort of like the last landmark of this area here. Whatever.
And so that tram line will not go to Kyiv. It's only serving this area.
Yeah, it sort of goes to, I believe it goes to one of the subway stations.
Okay.
It doesn't like connect to it like directly, but it passes by one of those subway stations, like Darnitsia or Liverberezhny, I'm not sure which one.
Okay.
On this side of the Kyiv. But as you can understand, I'm guessing just to get from here to the subway line is at least 30-40 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're looking at, and the frequency of the tram is probably not so good. So you're probably looking for like an hour and a half by the time you get to downtown Kyiv. Jeff has a great channel on YouTube here called Why Ukraine, and in it you answer all the questions.
I answer all the questions
people have.
It's a channel kind of about me, because when I said I was coming to Ukraine, everybody, whether they lived in Ukraine, whether they lived in the United States, they said, why Ukraine?
Yeah.
And so
Indeed,
this is my exploration to answer the question of why Ukraine. There's so many reasons why Ukraine, but I think it's uncovering, peeling back the onion and discovering all those reasons for Ukraine.
Yeah, definitely, guys, check out that channel. It will answer that question, really, and many other questions that people have about like why choose Ukraine in the first place. I mean, what's so great about it? I had a great time here today talking about Troeschyna and uncovering all these myths and realities of Troeschyna. And I don't know, what do you think? You learned something about this place?
I did.
Did something surprise you?
No, well, I guess it's not as dangerous as it's been advertised by some. It's a very interesting little bedroom community of Kyiv. I think it has a lot of potential. I think
definitely
unrealized potential.
There's potential, but in order to get that potential, Troeschyna has to tackle the three big problems, which is the transportation issue,
housing,
which is this lack of amenities when it comes to new construction, when in new buildings, attractions, that kind of stuff, and I think also addressing the negative stereotypes that this place has, because it has to be cool to live here again.
Yeah.
We're all for making Troeschyna great again. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and like and subscribe and check out Jeff's channel, Why Ukraine.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
Bye.